truth. Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up before the party ends. Agree or disagree, start unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dude.
That I hear most often, that I always try to help people connect the dots, is what is past is prologue. And although Shakespeare not my favorite, it's an interesting thing when you look at 1980 and the crack epidemic and what the United States government was involved in with the Contras.
No kidding.
So I don't understand why people are so shocked and they call Roseanne a conspiracy theorist. Because there's evidence in the past of the government getting involved in this, and there's plenty of books on this, and you can read this.
Hey, you know, here's what I think. I love your show, by the way, Matt Spear, and
Thank
watch
you, ma'am.
you. Just discovered you about a week ago,
Ma'am,
and
ma'am,
I went, oh my God, this guy's a genius. The facts he can spew.
God, I love you.
You can spew fact, and that's the sign of a genius.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I appreciate you asking me that.
So you just made my life.
I do remember back when they were bringing the crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods, and that proved that the CIA was doing it because they were grooming that population. And
adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? Olivia and Amy have the night off. Leeroy and I on Thursdays and Tuesdays. Good to have you here. Leeroy, what's up, buddy?
What is going on, folks? Matt, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, things are good. Yeah. Very good. Life is good. Things are good. Avs are playing tonight, going for 21-6. That's not 21. That's 20-1-6, which means one regulation loss in 27 games, which is pretty impressive. I know you don't understand what that means.
Well, I mean, I know it's a good record.
Yeah, it's not good. It's impossible. It doesn't happen. In fact, it hasn't happened, and it's insane. But whatever. It's hockey season, so I'm happy. You know, Christmas. It's hockey. There's no elections coming up. We can kind of just cruise into the new year and experience that, which we're excited about. Folks, thedumbshow.com/donate. If you haven't had a chance, we are a donation-based show. You don't have to donate. We just appreciate it. Keeps the lights on since Facebook decided to take our funding away and has been screwing over all conservatives for a long time, including November and December. We saw the best October we've had in years, and then they turned it off again. So we can't get anything going. So we would appreciate it if you can help us out. We're going to cover a whole bunch of topics tonight. Should be fun. And you can go, if you would like, over to thedumbshow.com, pick up some shirts, some hats, some coffee, whatever it is. But either way, we got a show to do, and we're going to do it right now. So Leeroy, I don't know if you've been following the TPUSA Candace Owens thing. Yeah.
I caught part of it this morning. I caught just enough of it for me to hear that Candace Owens accepted the challenge of TPUSA to come on, and she laid out some very basic ground rules.
Yeah, she already backed out.
But
she already backed out.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, of course she did. Of course she did. How could you expect anything less from Candace Owens? Of course,
what did she back out on the basis of?
Oh, I'll explain it. So this, I've got video too. This is great because we're going to torture. She said, so what happened is Blake Neff And the TPUSA team came on and said, the live stream we announced, which was yesterday on the show Wednesday, has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th. The collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by @RealCandaceO to set the record straight. Now, I'm very excited because last night, some of you may know that I said, do not do this with the TPUSA team. It has to be Charlie's most staunch and avid supporters. It's got to be people like Graham Allen, Chad Prather. It's got to be Officer Tatum. I'll go up there, whatever. But it has to be reputable Republicans who, even Crowder would be an amazing thing to do. But get up there and do not bring the TP, because those guys don't have talent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Neff and Clavitt, they just don't have the talent. They're horrible. With respect, they are not Charlie. They need to find the next Charlie. The only way they're going to find the next Charlie is by continuing to penetrate the conservative movement with talent that is established and well known. And those guys are not it. They're just not. One of them is like an accountant. The other guy looks like a Ken doll. And it's not disrespect to them. They're amazing people behind the scenes, and they were Charlie's friends, and that's great. But I don't believe they have what it takes to do it. So, plus they would be defensive, and I think that they're way too close to this thing. These guys were there when Charlie was shot. They saw it happen. They literally, they experienced it. And I think you should have people who are masters at holding people accountable, who are very, very good at holding on to facts, so you can literally destroy Candace the way she deserves to be destroyed. She doesn't deserve any quarter. She doesn't reserve. There is no treaty. It is literally shoot to kill and murder. You need to murder her verbally. Like, her entire reputation needs to be in the trash when this is done. And it needs to be done with an eloquence and a style where it's an exchange of conversation. You allow her to finish, give her all the rope she needs to hang herself, and then literally pull the freaking, pull the imaginary floorboards that she thinks were underneath Charlie when he was killed. So listen, that's where I'm at. That's where Tim Pool's at. That's where plenty of people are at. We're sick of it. We're sick of her. And that's it. That's it. So what happened was, Blake says, blah, 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 blah. Now, Candace says, kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and chose to instead tweet this confirmation at midnight. Why am I learning about this on X? December 15th does not work in person, and 2 p.m. Pacific is also literal the time I do my podcast live. We'll also add that I'm happy to jump on the Charlie show any day before then, virtually as well. I was serious when I said we could do it today. Even virtually, I can make it happen pretty much any day because it's easier to move things around with the kids and find someone to sub. Okay, you're a multimillionaire lady. Don't tell me you can't find someone to watch your fucking kids. Okay, number one. And find someone to sub. Candace, I'll sub for your show. We'll bring some truth to it. I'll be happy to sit in on my dime. I will fly out to wherever you're at, Tennessee. I will sub your show. I will be happy to do it. We'll bring some truth. We'll go over the Charlie Kirk assassination and give your fans actually the truth. I'll be subbing, and I'll do it for free. Leeroy and I will both show up if we have to. Whatever it takes to get your ass to sit in that seat in Arizona, because that's the hot seat, and you can't disconnect. You can't have audio problems. You need to be sitting there, and you either going to walk out or you're going to get cooked. Now, I know you got a lot and I got a lot, but I want to show this video because this is, listen, I bring receipts. And I'm only going to do what I always do, which is have Candace hang herself. That's it. Okay? Because I don't have to. Her words do enough. Here it is. Watch this. Listen closely, Leeroy. Tell me what you hear. Sesame Street this for me.
I'm a listener.
All right, here it comes. Got to switch the audio. I'm fired up. There's no doubt about it. Here you go.
Everything they could to stop Charlie's rise, breaking bread with them and refusing to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie. Have you no shame? We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like I said, you can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is demanding it. So I accept it with whistles and bells, everything. I fully accept. I say let everything they
Instant replay. Here it is. Listen.
and
Sounded like she was open to
refusing
anything.
Yeah. Let's listen to that.
to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie. Have you no shame? We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to.
You can pick the place.
plan for this. We don't need
You can
lawyers
pick
in
the
between
time.
us, lawyer statement.
Just not that time.
Right. Whoa.
Hold on now. Hold the phone. You can pick the
Not
place.
2 p.m. and certainly not on my personal podcast time, even though you can pick the place, you can pick the time. No.
Yeah, I got to feel. Listen, and I know she has a problem with Greenwich time versus Eastern time and the 6-hour difference with the Egyptian plane. So maybe she didn't understand. She thought that was 8 o'clock. But Charlie's show is on the same time, and that's why they're picking it. So I don't know what to tell you, Candace, but you know what? All your little Candathons are jumping in and going, oh, don't go. Don't go. If you go, they'll assassinate you. They'll kill you. TPUSA has it in for you next. And I'm like, are you people retarded? Is that what it is? Do you think Klavitz is going to stand up and shoot Candace Owens, or a sniper's going to be in the parapet and with the lighting crew, and they're going to go ahead and plug her with a 50 cal sniper rifle in the neck that will bounce off of her spine, because they also believe that it's impossible for a 308 not to go through an entire body in every single situation, in every single circumstance, because they shot a few deer. I don't know what to say, Leeroy.
Candace's biggest problem is
Candace.
The internet is forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you say something, now there's a video record out there of you saying exactly that. So I have not always found Candace to be a charlatan, but I found her to have grown into that role over the last year or two. There was a time where I was an absolute advocate for her, and I would have watched her. I liked her when she had that John Stossel special.
Yeah.
But ever since she got her own show, ever since she had to part ways with Ben Shapiro, I feel like there is more and more examples out there of her being disingenuous, which is what this was. When you sit there and tell the world, I will go on any place, anytime, you name it,
right,
and then you back out.
You pick the
That's
place.
what that looks like.
I'll show
you
up and
are
fight
now forever labeled as disingenuous. And for her to have the self-proclaimed #1 podcast for some period of time based off of those kind of credentials of disingenuousness, I'm sorry, lady.
Yeah. Bro, I'm done. Lee Wilson donated $5. Hold the line. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lee.
Hey, Ethan. We had a $25 donation earlier today. Go back and take a look, please. Yeah, make sure that gets put in. Thanks. Close the drapes. All right. So listen, we've spent enough time on Candace, but that's big news. December 15th, we'll be carrying it live. I'm going to come on the 15th. I'll be on in that afternoon, and we're going to watch it together. And if Candace is there, great. And I seriously doubt that she will show. Why would she? Because no matter what happens, she's just going to lie. And she's going to be like, nope, that's not true. Nope. That's what she does. And she'll just over talk. But that's why if you have Tatum there, and Officer Tatum was Charlie's friend, and he's going to have to make a choice because he's really good friends with Candace too. And he's going to have to pick. And I would hope that when he gets there, he represents Charlie and Candace effectively. Do your job. Go in there and don't just defend Candace Owens because she's your friend and she's hot. Go in there and represent Charlie Kirk and your friend Candace. And whenever she is being disingenuous, call her out on it. Hit her. Yeah, I don't know, man. This isn't show. Isn't show friends. It's show business.
You know how somebody looks, and she is very attractive. I mean, just smoking hot, right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking about facts, the facts of a matter or policy or things like that, you know what? I don't care what you look like. And that's, I think, where a lot of the disconnect between the left and the right lives. Too many people on the left. Who's coming in? Kimberly and Jägermeyer. Ooh, I
Hurry up.
Didn't I?
Read it.
$25. Thank you for the last night's show. Watching now. When I mentioned to James,
it's too slow. It's too slow. You're slow. You're just so. God, you're slow. Just so slow. Kim, we love you. I read it earlier. You're the best. And Kim was watching last night's show when she said it. Listen, it's only about full 175 words, money, and a name that's difficult to pronounce in 12 seconds, Leeroy. I mean, seriously, reset your expectations. Right. I'm gonna change that and let those stay on a little bit longer next time. I apologize. It's not your fault.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
I think where we get lost with the people like Candace is that too many people believe that she is an accurate representation of the right, and she's not. Just because she has the #1 show and she's mildly attractive, people tend to trust her, and it's probably for the same reason that people tend to trust a lot of actors.
Yep.
Right. You feel like you know them because when you see a face on a screen and you get enthralled with said face, right? If that face even looks honest and has expressive eyes, next thing you know, you tend to look at that and go, I can trust that person. And that's not always true.
Yep. All right, we're going to move on. We're not going to spend too much time on this. I don't want to do this.
Moving on.
So someone just asked me, what do I know about Cam Higbee? I know he's a conservative commentator. He's a protest guy. It's a very ambiguous question, but I know he's conservative. I know he hits the street, and that's what I know about Sam Higbee. Cam Higbee. Jeez. But anything
Cam
else?
Or Carl? Carl from like Newsmax?
It's supposed to be Cam Higbee.
Carl Higbee is the SEAL team member on Newsmax.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's who that meant?
No, Cam Higbee is the name. He's conservative street. Well, that's what he spelled. So he might be talking about Carl, but he spelled Cam. So Cam Higbee is a conservative street caster who goes out and gets public opinions and on discourse. Carl is different, but I'm sure there's
like
more
Ami Horowitz.
New York scored. Thank you. That's the 4th game in a row the other team has scored first. Just FYI. That's a trend I don't like to see. Okay, moving on. So here's an interesting one last thing that actually I do want to show is this was a Megyn Kelly event, and someone came up to speak, and I found it very interesting that a conservative at Megyn Kelly's show, this is going to fall on Megyn Kelly a little bit. And I got to admit, she's disappointed me a little bit when it comes to some of the things. But she ripped apart Ben Shapiro. She ripped apart Dave Rubin, and these are friends of hers. These are dear friends of hers. And she says, to defend Tucker Carlson, but she won't go after Candace because she says she doesn't know enough about it. But is comfortable speaking about Charlie Kirk, even though she and Charlie weren't dear friends. But she knows nothing about Candace, but then went ahead and ripped against Ben Shapiro. So she says, I can't comment on Candace because I don't know anything about her. And then literally the next day rips apart Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro about Candace. It's like, wait a second, I thought you didn't know anything about Candace. Why are you defending her? So she's been doing this quite a bit. And she's been, like, in my opinion, I think Tucker Carlson got in her ear and said, listen, the right's moving against Israel and moving against the Jews, and you need to get away from the conservative principle that they're the greatest ally, and at least come over to the moderate side of start questioning or bringing on guests that will question. There's no doubt in my mind that conversation took place because I can see that Megyn Kelly's uncomfortable with it. So one of her guests called her out, and that's the way it should be. Folks, please share on Twitter if you can. We're getting throttled by Facebook so incredibly hard. And without you, we're not going to be able to grow. So we need your help. Here you go. Watch this.
You are not just an independent media person. You're now a giant media mogul. Watch out, Barry Rice. But the problem is, in the independent space, there's some people who can be dangerous, who have millions of subscribers, who say things that people listen to that are picked up by other people. I'm talking about Candace Owens. Okay. And first, when she started with Brigitte Macron, okay, I don't care if she's a man or a woman. The journalist story is she was really a pedophile and a high school teacher who got together with her student.
That part we know is true.
My question is, then when Charlie died, she's gotten nuts. So how can you and other people that we respect and admire stop this?
Well,
You are
I think people need to continue to keep asking this question because this has been asked of her, and she says, "Listen, I'm not the moral internet police." And it's like, well, then why are you ripping apart Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro?
That's
if you're,
fair.
Shut up. If you're going to be a moderate and you're going to ride the fence and be a fence sitter, not take a side, then shut your fucking mouth. I mean, is that the only? I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I want to be all nice and sweet, but well, Megan, I'm sick of people placating. Doesn't it bother you when people stand up for something that's true? They stand up for the facts. They stand up for what would be considered the moral high ground, and they have to put a caveat to it. Like, listen, I like Tucker Carlson, but him talking about Nazis just is unacceptable. Why don't you just say Tucker Carlson platforming Nazis is 100% unacceptable? Why do you have to go ahead but you're trying to save your audience? Crowder did that today. We're going to talk about it with Nick Fuentes, and he does this thing like, listen, I
saw part of that.
I don't love Nick Fuentes, but let me tell you, do you hate Jews, Nick? Do you think women should be raped? No, I don't hate you. No. Okay, looks like it's settled. What?
No,
now,
that was
go
a
ahead.
Complete layup.
Oh, yeah, it was all.
I saw part of that, and Nick Fuentes is one of the most disgusting human beings I have ever heard
he's a
or
twat.
laid eyes on.
He's a twat.
And what he tends to do is, depending on the podcast that he gets onto, he will change. He will soften his tone quite a bit.
Yep.
Just to do exactly what Matt is talking about, to placate that audience, to say, look, I'm really not that bad a guy, when there's, again, it's the same, what we just got done talking about with Candace Owens. The internet is forever, and those speeches are out there. We've heard Nick Fuentes talk negatively about black people, about women.
He said anyone who wasn't a Christian should be executed. He said it.
So,
and he even told Crowder Day, I never said that. And he said women want to be raped. I never said that. Yes, you did. I've got the videos. I went and I dug them all up.
That same level of disingenuousness that we just got done talking about with Candace Owens, Nick has that times 10. It's gross.
All right. So Megan's listen. It's maybe the first 45 minutes gonna be a little bit hitting some conservatives tonight. I'm sorry, folks. I got to do it. Don't worry.
Nick is not a conservative.
Nick
Fuentes
I know.
Not a conservative.
Okay, I didn't say Nick Fuentes was a conservative. I said tonight we're hitting conservatives because Crowder most assuredly is, and Candace claims to be, and so does Nick Fuentes. So here's something interesting. Valentina Gomez. I don't like Piers Morgan. And I don't like Piers Morgan's show at all. I'm just not a fan. But I will watch him. Now, I think that he is absolutely pro-Muslim. And is a Muslim apologist, to be honest with you. And that's the honest to God truth that I can give you. And I think he pretends to support Israel and then winds up giving it. He rides the fence. Piers Morgan definitely rides the fence. And he was exposed for being essentially a European leftist. And he always has kind of been that way. He does come across at times as being a conservative. He's not. He's not pro-Second Amendment. He wishes on pro-life, pro-choice. He doesn't have the same quality of conservative values that others have in his stead. But I do appreciate listening to him from time to time. So Valentina Gomez, you'll see that Matt Bissonette is sitting to her left, and then two other guys who I don't know and I don't care. They were fill-ins. But Valentina Gomez, she is running for a congressional seat in Texas. Now, here's what we were just talking about. She's smoking hot. She is a smoke show. And she is my type of woman. She's brown hair, brown eyes, Latina. She's Olivia times 10, and she's hot. She is absolutely one of the worst candidates you could ever possibly have in this position. She is another Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is another Lauren Boebert. She doesn't have a brain in her fucking head. Sorry. You don't have to like me. I said it about MTG and you thought I was a liar. Well, guess what happened? I told you about Candace Owens. Guess what happened? I told you about Fetterman. I told you Fetterman was a moderate, and you guys told me he was a communist and I was crazy. Now look at Fetterman. Fetterman looks like a Reaganite. But Valentina Gomez is nuts, folks. She's just, she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now, I'm going to show you Piers Morgan in her interview, and it's just, this will speak for itself. Just watch this, and then I'll show you some of the videos that have created controversy for her.
Hey,
I understand. Now, a lot of people like her because she hates Muslims. But is that any different than Nick Fuentes hating Jews? Ask yourself the question. I understand. Listen, Arabs are not my favorite of all either, but I don't lump all Arabs together. I can differentiate between people who follow the worst parts of the Quran and people who are Muslims who don't believe in the eradication of everybody. Not everybody, because they believe one thing, means they all believe the same thing. That's not the way this works. But here's Gomez. Enjoy this. This is interesting.
We need to bomb more narco-terrorists into oblivion. That's the reality. You defend terrorists because you're probably a little terrorist yourself as well. That's the reality.
Why would you say that?
Why would I say what?
Why do you use language like that? Why do you brand a fellow panelist who's actually a respected journalist a terrorist?
Someone who is defending terrorists? Someone who is defending terrorism. Bringing drugs into the United States.
He hasn't defended terrorism. Only one, just to be clear, Valentina Gomez, I've had 3 reasonable members of this panel offering reasonable arguments.
Reasonable,
all I've heard from you so far is dumb bigotry, accusations of terrorism against people who are just perfectly ordinary journalists. There's something wrong with you. Why do you do this?
Sounds like you during COVID, Piers. You were.
If 400 million Muslims were terrorists, we would all be dead. Let me say that again. If there were 400 million Muslim terrorists, we would all be dead. What a ridiculous notion that 400 million Muslims are terrorists. I don't understand where that comes from. Please show me that number, and then break it down by. You happen to have 2 people right here who know fairly well the actual number of active terrorist cells in the world, not just the United States. Please educate me. Please tell me the 400 million and break it down by group category. Give me the top 5. And I would assume that out of that 400 million, at least the top 2 or 3 would have, what, 50, 60, 70, 80 million terrorist members? Please list them for me. Please list.
Well,
I'm waiting.
Do that.
Yes, he can. It's true. He said it's true. 400 million Muslim terrorists. Please tell me. Tell me who they are. I'd like to hear that. I would love that breakdown because, maybe we heard it on Candace Owens. Here's the rest of the video while you get those stats for me.
You were vilifying, shaming, and trying to destroy people for not wanting to take the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
You tried to destroy.
And you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong.
Exactly. You're wrong, and you still are wrong today.
Well, you don't become less wrong. I've admitted I was wrong. I've apologized. What I've not seen from you, is any admission of being wrong or an apology for the disgusting way you talk about people. Why do you do it?
I apologize for nothing. My statements and my actions have endured the test of time. And Piers, since you cut me off, let me finish. You've been on national television for 20 years, and during that entire time, England has only gotten more Muslim. For 20
when
years,
you last in England?
To even say faggot or to even call out the rapist Muslims. Piers, you're not uncensored. The truth is, you have been complicit with the rape of England into its submission. It's not only on Keir Starmer, it's also on you, on the police and the courts that have covered up for their crimes. Absolutely. And I'll say what everybody else is thinking. England is better off without all the Muslims. And that goes the same way to the United States. We can solve all of our problems if these Muslims are sent back to their Sharia nations, because they're not here to assimilate.
You think there would be no problems? You think you'd have no, just to be clear, I'll tell you what, you finish. You finish. You said what you want to say. You said what you want to say. Yeah, you see, this has been my suspicion. Because the last time you were here, you were at a Tommy Robinson march. And this has been my problem with Tommy Robinson.
Oh, yes.
Not that Tommy Robinson wasn't right to expose the grooming gangs. He was. The problem is that he and many of his followers, like you, actually hate Muslims.
So he went off even more, and it was actually kind of masterful, because at the end, he's like, you're not going to win in Texas. There's not a snowball's chance, and she won't. And I'm here to tell you right now, she has no chance to win. In fact, Donald Trump just endorsed somebody else. And the reason why is because you can't touch her. She is absolutely volatile to a point and toxic that you can't, and that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump can't touch her. Here's a video that she did. And listen, I understand people are frustrated with Muslims coming into our country. I'm with you. But this shit, this doesn't fly. Watch this.
It's that simple. Public executions for any illegal that rapes or kills an American. They don't deserve deportation. They deserve to be ended.
Okay. You know what? I completely agree with you. But there's a way to say that, and there's a way to do that. And that is not, listen, you do that when people aren't convinced. I think if you asked 80% of America, should illegal aliens who come in here and rape or harm a child should be put to death, I think most people would say yes. This isn't a controversial issue. You don't need to do that to convince people. But this is what she does. She does with everything. She burnt the Quran. Now, I understand where people are coming from, and I just want to do the stats, and then I want to get your opinion, Leeroy. So here's your quick breakdown, because it's amazing. I always get this that Muslims are completely radicalized, and that there's this giant terrorist network inside. First of all, that's not accurate in any way, shape, or form. ISIS and ISIS-K, anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000 active fighters. That is the truth. Al-Qaeda and affiliates, 10 to 20,000. Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa, 3,000 to 5,000. Other regional extremist groups, another 3,000 to 5,000. And then you've got to go ahead and look at any other unassociated groups. So you would go ahead and you could look at JIP, you could look at Hezbollah, which is eradicated. You can look at the Houthis, which are obliterated. You can look at the IRGC, which are obliterated. But in the end, you're talking 50,000 active terrorists in the United States or in the world. Do the math. Leeroy, how many Muslims, Arabs are there in the world?
Oh, God. I thought it was like 1 point something or other billion.
Yeah, 2 billion. And if you do the math of what 50,000 is, so radicalized, you're talking radicalization to me is death to America, kill the infidel. And essentially kill anyone who is not Muslim. You're talking an infinitesimal amount. Now, people who hold extremist viewpoints, even if it's 300,000, then you would see the radicalization in these terrorist groups grow. You're not seeing them grow. You're seeing them shrink. The more modern Middle East becomes, the more it brings innovation and modernization, and Western civilization exposes itself. UAE, Qatar, they are now not condoning terrorism and state-run terrorism. Saudi Arabia doesn't condone state-run terrorism. It did at one point. Kuwait doesn't. Iraq doesn't. Egypt doesn't. You're going to see that with Spain and Morocco. So you're seeing countries no longer supporting statehood terrorism and annihilating these groups. These groups are shrinking. They're not swelling. So I understand that there is a very serious element that is dangerous in the Muslim community. But for everyone to sit here and assume that every Muslim is a terrorist it's really stupid, just to be completely honest. It's just stupid. And I don't mean to be rude, but that is a form of ignorance. And I'm stupid on things. I'm not going to lie to you. There's nothing wrong with being stupid and dumb sometimes. Sometimes it happens. And as long as when you hear something, then ignorance is replaced with knowledge. But if you refuse to do the work and understand something, that is stupidity. If you know the answer, not only is it bigoted, and you choose to believe something else, which it is bigoted. I mean, that's the definition of bigotry. 1600s was about religion. Is that if you know the difference and you actually truly know the facts and you still choose to believe something, that is bigoted and stupidity. Leeroy, your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, you already hit on the big one, right? Which is that just by mere percentages of the 2 billion plus Muslims, it's a relatively small, very, very small percentage that have become radicalized. Now, that being said, did I get like a weird female Nick Fuentes vibe coming off of that? Because while she's talking about, literally exterminating whole swaths of a religion, I feel like that there has already been a radicalized group in this century, last century, who tried to do the same thing over in Germany. So when we start talking about should this type of person run in Texas, no, this is the type of person that makes regular Republicans look terrible. This is the person that the Democrats actually have a point in pointing out and saying, look at this. Look at the terrible things that this lady is saying. This is the whole of the Republican Party. It's people like her that are the problem. She is more radicalized than the people she's talking about.
So I think it's really important to say that someone can take a hot button issue and attach something to it which has nothing to do with it. Because there is punishment for murder. There is punishment. There are death penalties for rape, especially with children involved, and rape and murder. So to sit here and say that every single person it's a non-issue that she is attaching to a moral majority issue. So it's a way to kind of get extreme politics. This is what Hitler did. Hitler said, Germany is failing. Germany is going to fall. Germany is going to be taken over. And it's their fault. Yep. So you need to kill them in order to save Germany. When that's not true. The Jews didn't need to be eradicated. The Jews could have been literally excommunicated from Germany. You could have rounded them up and moved them to the border and said, if you come in again, we're going to kill you. You could have deported every Jew. No, he murdered the Jews. And of course, people like Nick Fuentes and others goes, oh, it's because of food. Candace Owens said it. Hitler was actually just being humane because instead of letting them starve to death, he just killed them instead. Oh, well, what a humanitarian. What a philanthropic viewpoint. But I understand that I don't give a shit what Piers Morgan says, but he happens to be right. There's a difference, right?
In this
I
case, yeah.
I don't care what Piers Morgan says because he's not an American. But what I do care about is that he's correct. She's not going to win. Let me just tell you why she's not going to win. She has no support. Donald Trump completely did not support her. In fact, just supported the person running against her. And his comments were that they need to stop the growth and expansion of Islamicism in Texas. So you've got a person who wants to murder Muslim extremists, which I'm fine with. But she doesn't have Donald Trump's support. And I think Donald Trump has learned supporting people like Carrie Lake, supporting people like Marjorie Taylor Greene has been a mistake. It's been Majewski from Ohio, that these characters are a mistake. So it says Congressman John Judge Carter is a fantastic representative for Greater People of Texas, 31st Congressional. Mm-hmm. Judge served over 20 years as district judge in Williamson County prior to becoming a very distinguished and respected U.S. congressman. He's working tirelessly to grow our economy, promote Made in the USA, champion energy, dominance, keep our very secure borders, stop migrant crime. Military veterans, defend our always under siege Second Amendment. Judge Carter has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He will never let you down. Boom, that's it. She's done. She's cooked. And here's the other thing. For any of you who thought she was serious, she's raised $12,000. Hi. She's raised $12,000. If I was to run for election and I was to announce it tonight, by the end of the week, I think I would have raised more than $12,000. I could go to 4 people and raise more than $12,000. So you can't take her seriously. She has no chance of winning. She has no funding. She has no money. Nobody takes her seriously. She is completely social media influencer trying to run for office, and we've seen this. We've already had Marjorie Taylor Greene. We don't need any more. That's my opinion.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I was just listening to her talk, and every time I hear one of those extremist points of view, I always try to compartmentalize when I hear somebody's position on something, whether or not you're taking the rights away from somebody or demonizing a group, or are we fighting to protect the rights of somebody else? And very clearly to me, as crazy right leaning as she sounded, her actual policies of, hey, let's get rid of all of this type of group in a country. Boy, I mean, that almost sounds like we should be imprisoning Japanese post World War II.
Yeah, she's got a pretty
you know
thick.
What I mean? Like,
she's got a pretty thick accent for going after minorities.
It's crazy.
Listen, there's absolutely. I am 100% on board with deportation of anyone who is illegal in this country. Period.
If they're
Plain and
illegal,
simple.
yeah,
that's it. Get them out. Every one of them. Get them out. With no ifs, ands, or buts. You're illegal. You get pulled over. You get deported. That's it. That's it.
That seems to be the major argument for the year 2025 as we close this year, because everyone in social media all of a sudden thinks that they're somehow a lawyer. Like, these boat strikes are illegal, or these people are legal or not illegal. And it's like everyone on the web, on Twitter, on Facebook, all have their own opinions. It's like every freaking one of you went to Cornell Law School.
So when we're talking about the Muslim religion, see, here's the problem I have. How many of you actually know a Muslim? How many of you have read the Quran? No. How many of you have actually participated in a prayer? So when you talk about Sharia law and you're like, Sharia law is evil and it's the devil. Okay, first of all, most of you don't even know what Sharia law is. Now, this also goes for Jews with the Talmud, or this goes for Catholicism with Opus Dei, or it goes with the Old Testament and the Talmudic teachings, is there are parts of all Bibles that are extremely, very interesting, to say the least. And the New Testament is kind of a dumbed down, nicer version of God. Because if you go to the Old Testament, there were some things in there where like, holy moly. But when you look at people who have high support for Sharia law, which basically follows Sharia law from start to finish, every single rule, every single statement, every single bylaw, there's only a few countries that do it, and it's the ones that you would expect: Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Those are like the biggest ones, and certain parts of North Africa. Not as much as anymore. But when you look at moderate support, now you have the bulk of the Muslim religion, which is like Indonesia, Egypt, Jordan, Nigeria. Those are like the middle of the roads. And then you have extremely low support, and these are countries that have moved towards modernistic at an accelerated pace into Western civilization. Turkey, Albania, Bosnia, by forced contrition, had to, Central Asia, and most Western countries, including a lot of the Middle East. So most of them do not want Sharia as like state law. They believe in Sharia from a theological perspective. So like their personal ethics, their marriage rules, religious guidance, customs, and in some cases government law. And for a country which is built on Christianity, we certainly have a lot of moxie to sit here and say that you shouldn't use those things to help guide your constitution or your governmental bylaws, because we did with Christianity, and all of those are very simple: marriage between man and woman, everything else. When you get to the more extreme sides of Sharia law, that is a completely different conversation. But when you're talking about like inheritance traditions or marriage rules or prayer or personal ethics, very different. Those are about 300 to 400 million believe in Sharia law. 1.6 billion follow those. Now, there's a 300 to 400 million who actually want Sharia law as part of their state law. And that's a lot.
It's a decreasing percentage that want the more extreme viewpoints. Yeah.
And these are like the high support harsh punishments. They want reform, not strict enforcement. They want actual reform of government. They see Sharia law as symbolic or cultural. That is like They want that with their law. So they want their moral code and their law to be based on Sharia. And once again, none of those things are out of the normal. Now, this is the people, when you're talking about the extremists, these are the people who interpret Sharia law as the word of God and must be followed, and all punishments. That's ISIS, that's Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, Taliban, etc. That is anywhere from 15 to 30 million people worldwide. But those are people who are not associated with those terrorist groups. So yes, you have a very large group of people who want Sharia law followed to the nth degree and letter from a moral standpoint, from a government standpoint, and a conviction standpoint. So I could see how that could be concerning to people. But most of those people, those 15 to 30 million estimate, are sitting in some of the deepest and most depraved and low income areas of countries that I just mentioned, that do not have the fiscal means or the opportunity to wage war against anybody. So I'm not defending Muslims. I'm trying to give you a balanced perspective. 2-0 Islanders. Oh, fuck. Come on, Avs. All right. I had a feeling this game was going to be tough for us. So that's it. Just wanted everyone to understand what I'm saying. Okay. So when everyone's like Sharia law, we need to kind of chill with the Sharia law thing. There's a lot of other things that are a hell of a lot more worrisome to me than Sharia law. What bothers me is the culture, giant swaths of illegals and people who were dumped in here who hate America taking over our justice system, taking over our government. That scares the shit out of me. And it should scare the shit out of you too. You guys go ahead.
Oh, I said I agree.
The election. Matt Van Epps was sworn in today with Mike Johnson. Liberals are melting down. They're saying it took 48 hours for Matt Van Epps to win the election. And Andalita Juravala, it took her, 50 days to get sworn in? Mike Johnson's a coward is what they're saying. Does anyone want to tell them while we watch this video why it took her 50 days to get sworn in and it took Ray 48 hours after we watched the video, Leeroy? Here.
Okay, look right here for me, sir.
Did I say Ray Epps? Matt Van Epps. Went to J6. Yeah. Wonder why. Why did that happen, Leeroy? Why did it take 50 days?
I actually don't know, and I'm kind of hoping you'll enlighten me.
Just go back a little bit. What just happened that took 50 days? For the government
shutdown.
That's it. That's the reason. That's why it took 50 days. Yeah. I'm sorry, but all proceedings and all business when the government is shut down, when the House is not in session, that's the way this works. I'm sorry. I don't understand why people are upset. Maybe the Democrats shouldn't have shut down the government. What do you think?
Ouch.
Seriously. Ted Cruz, what's your opinion of him?
Oh, God, when I first saw when I first heard him speak, my immediate vibe right out of the gate was used car salesman. I have since altered my perceptions of him. He says some things occasionally that I don't necessarily agree with, but overall, I am grown to like him incrementally more. And I applaud some of his successes from time to time. I dare to say, I'm starting to like the guy.
Could you see him as president?
No. I don't think he would make it. I think he would get slaughtered.
Here's why he'll never be
president. There's a likability factor that I think is missing there.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is it to the truth. Like he's a brain and he's a super smart guy.
Yeah.
But the likability factor, oh my God.
Yes.
Like he's so Magoo.
You really, and that's probably what hit me right out of the gate is when you first hear his his speech, and when you first see him, how he expresses his face, and I'm not saying I'm any better, I certainly am not, but everyone gets those first impressions, and his is just a little lackluster. It's not until you really listen to him over a period of time that you're like, oh, all right, I get it. You know what I mean? You really
Yeah.
have to kind of grow into him. And the fact of the matter is that if this was a guy who was running, there are so many people on the left that would never give him the time of day. I just don't see him as likable in the middle for the independents.
Well, here's why. Everything you said is true. Everything you said is true. But this is why he can't be president, because this is so stiff. Donald Trump has everyone together, and dude, can I say something? Stop taking Ozempic, people. It makes you look like a concentration concentration camp survivor. There are people who are on it, and it makes you look sick. It's not a healthy weight loss. And I'm telling you, in 5, I'm not a doctor, but 5 years, they're going to come out with something. This shit is not good for you. Losing weight is not a healthy thing unless it's done healthily, unless it's done the right way, by burning calories and eating correctly. Taking a pharmaceutical drug that essentially burns the fat off your body and the muscle is not a good thing. You know what I mean? Here's Ted Cruz.
Say a few words. Oh, Ted, I can't believe it.
I'm easy to miss.
I didn't see. It's very rare that I would miss it. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, Mr. President, I want to congratulate you.
Say a few.
It's so stiff. It's like, oh, Ted wants to say something shocking, you know? And Donald Trump is kidding, but he's so, well, Mr. President, it's so stiff.
Yeah, it really is.
I think Ted, Lindsey Graham, Massey, Rand Paul, these guys need to go. We need a younger, more vibrant, youthful Republican Party, and whoever does that first is going to win. And this is going to bring us into the 2026 conversation. Folks, first hour, we're at $30 in donations. We've hit it every night, and I'm assuming we're going to again, so I'm not going to say too much. My Avs are losing 2-0, and that just really ruins my evening. So
sorry,
we don't. It's okay. Well, they're down. It doesn't mean they're out, but you know, this would be nice if we can hit goals, so I don't have to worry about it. So when we're looking at the elections, there's a lot of people who are flipping out because I don't understand why this poly market has become such a big thing for people. Folks, these are gambling odds. This is not a predictor.
Yeah.
There's nothing in here. They were so off on the Epps race. They had it like something like 52-48. And the poly market isn't always right. And
I'll tell you what the issue with poly market is. When you're talking about very, very local races, there are relatively few people nationwide or international that know enough about those local races to place an intelligent bet. So oftentimes it's all by hearsay or social media. The only time poly market really gets it right, honestly, is when it is a nationwide event, because that is something where now you've got nationwide participants who are willing to put their money on the line and say, look, I'm willing to bet that Trump is going to win this one. And we watched that happen on election night. So it's great for nationwide, large swath events. But when you start talking about more localized races, I think there's a lack of, you don't get the wisdom of the crowd, if you get my meaning.
Yeah.
There's not enough participation.
But in the end, it's just the amount of people betting and voting, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you go ahead and take it back just a little bit of time, you can see that it was sitting like a 60-40 split. But this is perception. And I want people to understand, I don't know why anyone thinks that Republicans are favored to win this in any way, shape, or form. They have everything stacked against them. The midterms always pretty much every single time, the majority loses seats and loses control. This always happens. It happened in Trump in 2018. It happened to Obama. It happens to everybody. Very rare. I think 5 times in U.S. history has the House and Senate stayed with the supermajority in midterms. So, first of all, these odds shouldn't even be remotely close to begin with. But you also need to understand is that there are a lot of Senate seats up for Republicans, and people feel they're competitive from the Democrat side. House actually leans a little bit more towards the Republicans, that there aren't enough seats. And with the redistricting things that they did in Texas, and if other states do it, which they need to, we'll hold the House, which is all I care about. I don't care about losing the Senate. I care about having the House because that's subpoena power. You can't impeach Trump with the House, without the House. So I think we need to set people's expectations that this is going to be a very difficult midterm. But this whole 80-20 bullshit, there's nothing indicating that it's that far apart. It's actually probably going to be a lot closer. And it really depends on the affordability piece. Trump is working this. Republicans are working it. They are working on the whole affordability piece. They're working on expanding the $1,000 accounts for the kids. That's going to have an impact. Don't be surprised if Donald Trump plays around with debt forgiveness and talks about it and doesn't do anything about it. He needs to get the younger youth movement out to vote, and he's not on the ticket. So he's going to have to start flirting with ideas and saying things. You're going to be like, wait a second, that doesn't sound like Donald Trump.
Where'd that come from?
Ignore that shit. That's politics. But you better do something because, listen, what he is doing is making a mistake by saying that it's a hoax, that prices are up. They are up. Yes, gas is down. Yes, eggs went down, but meat's up, coffee's up, wheat's up. There's a lot of things that are up, and groceries are up. You can sit here and pretend they're not, but they are, and that's what killed Joe Biden. And if Donald Trump wants to do the same thing, it's going to be the kiss of death for the GOP in 2026. Your thoughts, Leeroy?
I agree. I think that the idea that the Republicans will occasionally flirt with more middle or moderate type policy that was, a one time or another, a talking point of the left, it's not a bad strategy to throw that carrot out there. It's only bad if they actually follow through with it. And the idea is that to sell is more people on the idea of a moderate policy. If you can start enticing people from the left or even far left that, we're talking about this policy that was once a Bernie Sanders talking point. All right, I'll listen, right? And maybe what that does is it dissuades everyone from this immediate opinion that Republicans are extremists in some way. No, because if they just got done talking about a moderate talking point, you really have a hard time selling the idea of extremism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's a healthy thing. They just shouldn't follow through with it.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting is that I've been receiving a lot of emails about the J6 bomber, the Capitol Police officer, and people wanting me to cover it. I didn't cover it because it was a lie. How do I know it's a lie? Because Blaze Media ran with it. That's how I know. Because Glenn Beck is full of shit. No offense.
I think he stepped down, didn't he?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's still involved. Blaze, did he? He's still doing his show. Is he not?
I thought he just announced it.
No, well,
that he's going to.
Either way, I don't listen to the Blaze ever.
Let me look that up.
Blaze is always wrong.
I don't either.
And there's a reason why I stopped watching Glenn Beck years ago is because he's the sky is falling Chicken Little. So the fact that you need to trust the FBI and let them do their jobs. That's all I'm saying. And things take time, and that's the way it is. I do have a clip for you, but this whole thing, people ask me, why aren't you covering it? Right? Because it's not true. There's no evidence, and the reporter had no evidence whatsoever. He was recognizing the gate, and he used a gate software to compare, and the accuracy rating was like 87%. That's not good enough. That's not a conviction. You can't convict on gate software. You got to have evidence, a preponderance of evidence. You got to have DNA. You got to have thumbprints. You got to have chemical compounds on clothing. You've got to have boot prints. You got to have eyewitnesses. You've got to have affidavits and subpoenas. And you can't just do it from well, this person predicts it's a woman, and this woman was a Capitol Police officer. Therefore, give me a break. Leeroy, Glenn Beck, what?
Oh, it's all over the place, actually. There's a headline here from 2011 that said he was stepping away. And then there's another headline that says, and then
that's away.
In October of 2025, there's another headline from Yahoo that said Beck clarified he does not intend to retire anytime soon.
I didn't think so.
It's like all over the place, yeah.
All right. Here's the video of, this is full 2 minutes about the J6 bomber. They have, oh my gosh, yeah, Judge Janine's lost some weight. Ozempic, get off that shit, folks. It's not good for you. Just stop eating so many carbs and stop eating fast food. Preservatives will kill you. But this Ozempic shit, it's so amazing that we won't take a vaccine for COVID, but we put Ozempic in our body and willingly. And I'm like, what are we doing? Why don't you say no to both? Tom Shin says, how many consequential bills have the Republicans passed in the last year? I'll answer that question when we're done. I know a hell of a lot more than when they ran the House under Biden. Here's the video, and I'll let you know. Get out of the way, Liv.
I wasn't sure if that was just me.
No, it's me. This is a shitty night. We're going to go. I'm just done tonight. Like, I can't do the donation fight. Donation fight all the time. It's just driving me crazy.
All right, man. Well.
Yeah, I'm just going to, hold on. Yeah, the whole thing's crashing. Yeah, it looks like we got everything back up. We'll see if we can get enough on. Yeah, I just can't afford to constantly do this fight. It's too much money. It's getting to the point where we can't keep doing it when it's this slow. It's too hard. And then we got to stay on until 9:30, 9:45, and it's just more money. So it's just to the point now where, you know, I gotta go hunt sponsors. It's just a shitty time of the year to do it. You know, it's really bad. So we got 116, 120 on, but I'm just gonna wait to see. If you gotta go, you gotta go. No problem, man. I'm worried that it's gonna crash again. I don't know why it's been crashing. There was an update on Apple, and I think it's not it's conflicting a little bit. But yeah, if you gotta go, totally get it, bud. It's up to you.
I'm gonna hang around. Okay. You know, we'll see if things pan out, right?
We'll see if it flips. Yeah, there's just a glitch happening. I don't know what it is. Anyway, here's the video of this. Let's hope it continues and doesn't crash out again. Here we go.
Early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021. He has been charged with violating 18 U.S.C. 844.
The body language is we are in deep poo-poo because we joined the Democrats in the cover-up.
This investigation
I'm just telling you, the body language ain't good.
As we speak,
and Perino's a great lady. She's not looking too happy.
All right. I didn't know this is going to be retard Alex Jones. J6. I'll find one without his. The guy he just rolls over his own videos all the time. Looking for the press conference. Hang tight, folks. Just one of those nights.
You're good. There was so much in the news about the pipe bomber, and when I was driving home, I was listening to Eric Erickson, who had a really good point. He's like the Republicans, right, are always going to point to this guy and say, "Hey, look, we got the guy. This is the guy that placed the bomb in front of our headquarters." The Democrats are going to same thing, but in reality, this guy put pipe bombs in front of both DNC and RNC headquarters.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you know?
Well, and remember, everyone said it was fake too, right? It was fake.
Yeah.
So it's fake. It's fake. Wasn't real. Never happened. And then, of course, now they got him, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, I don't believe him." I just, I'm just like, I'm wondering if I could just take the rest of December off. I think I need a vacation.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement in our process.
So according to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they have said that shit happens. Great show as always. Would like to hear your take on the pipe bomber. Paul says $20. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
The FBI says that this was like a cold case. They had all the information there that they needed. The FBI under Biden didn't even look and didn't even care. And they went in, reworked some things, brought a new investigation team in, ran the investigation, and found it on evidence. There was nothing new, no new evidence, no leads. Absolutely no impact whatsoever from anything outside what they already had collected in 2021 and beyond. So, of course, there's people out there who are like, oh, yeah, there's new evidence. Oh, Alex Jones. Oh. Of course, they're going for clicks. I wish I could. Maybe I need to start doing that. Maybe we'll hit goal faster if I just lie to everybody. Everybody, there was new evidence. I've got it for you. Unfortunately, we can't bring it to you unless we get $100. We need $100, folks. $100 is what we need for you to bring you evidence, and we'll bring the evidence on the new J6 pipe bombers. If you guys just rattle our jar, we'll go ahead and do. Otherwise, we have to keep it. It's just top secret information, folks, and we don't want France to try to assassinate Leeroy and I. So, got to rattle that jar.
Prosecutors to be put in jeopardy.
Is my sarcasm coming through or no?
This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process. As we have committed under this Attorney General, we are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent. And that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve, and most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods, and that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital, and they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington Field Office, and I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
Happy birthday, Dan Bongino, for catching this guy. Once again, this wasn't a Republican. It wasn't a Democrat. This was an idiot.
If I actually had to take a stab at it, politically, I would say this guy was more like an anarchist, somebody who just doesn't like politics at all, and was probably in his own sick way trying to send a message to say, hey, both Democrats and Republicans, either get your shit together or we're just gonna get rid of everyone, man. Like, just one of those types of idiots.
How about they start arresting some politicians?
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
I mean,
the guilty ones.
Here's my thing. All Joe Biden corruption, Burisma, billions of dollars in gold, or millions of dollars in gold that was set aside and saved. What was it? $20 billion in funds were hidden. What happened with that? What happened with the stolen election that we supposedly had? What happened with the January 6th committee? What happened with Letitia James? She just got exonerated. They just threw her case out.
Yeah,
but nothing's going to happen. Maybe it's just the December blues, but I am so fucking sick of doing this show right now. Like, I'm just sick of it because it's the same shit every night. It's just we talk about it. Nothing happens. There's no accountability for these fucking people. And I got to watch Candace Owens just sit up here hating Jews and lying about Charlie Kirk, and fucking what a cunt. You know, seriously, I don't think I've been honest enough. She's a fucking cunt. And just completely traipsing on her friend's name, making millions of dollars a fucking month. And she is a liar. I like this. I feel like I need to take a shower when I do this show sometimes.
You definitely sound frustrated.
Well, I fucking should be. Why shouldn't I be?
Because
why shouldn't I be? Listen,
you absolutely should be. There's a level. When you see the same mistakes in the United States happening, both at a political and a law enforcement level, and those same mistakes are happening over and over and over again, no matter the administration, no matter the time of the year or the economic outlook for the country. When you see abuses in the system, you just expect at some point, when are we going to change and hold people accountable? And it just seems like it never happens.
No, Tim Pool and I are in the same boat. Tim Pool and I are literally like, and Damani's in the same boat. We're all like, all of our revenue, just all of our work, they just turn us off. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of the ebb and flow. I mean, dude, look at the number. 347,844, 130,000 people have joined this site in the last 75 days. And you're telling me I got 61 people on? That's what you're telling me? That's lower than we were when we were at 145,000. It's just exhausting to see that if you don't bot up and you don't use advertising dollars in the tens of thousands, you can't grow. So it's frustrating. It's just a bad night for me. I'm pissed. I'm not happy. I'm gonna be negative tonight. And you know what? I haven't done this in at least a year, and I'm gonna do it tonight. And I want to. I want to be grumpy. And here's why. Because I'm sick of people who are so fake. How can you go from Israel this, Israel that, Israel's the promised land, Netanyahu's my hero, I'm going to go kiss the wall, and Jew this, Jew that, and then all of a sudden I hate Jews? There is a shift going on, and it's a grift, and all of them are in on it. They're all liars. Every politician, every media influencer, they're all fucking liars.
Well, they contradict themselves constantly and at various points. And you ask somebody to be direct with you and tell the public or the media during an interview, just be honest. Just once, tell us what you think here without contradicting yourself later. And none of them are able to do that.
And it's not like I don't contradict myself, and it's not like you don't contradict yourself, but we call each other out on it. We call each other out on it and go, wait a second, I don't understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
And I'll applaud Pierce Morgan because what he said was that, like, about the getting the vaccine. Yes, I said that thing and I was wrong and I apologize for it. So somebody like that who comes forth and says when they screw up, that is refreshing. And I wish more people would do it.
Joanne Townsend, $20. I think the comment was the same one that was just in there. Here's a perfect example. Listen to Matt Walsh here. And Matt Walsh and I are on the same effing page. And he says it on Megan's show. Well, listen to this. This is how I feel.
No matter what's going on with Israel, most of the problems that we have in our country and in our communities, the problems that like really affect you and affect your family and your children, those would all be the same regardless. And so that's why I'm focused on that. And you know, and that's it. I mean, that is really just the truth. And the other thing that's frustrating is that. Because every time I say that, it's like, well, you're just saying that because, and I get it from both sides. It's like, well, you're just saying that because you work for Ben Shapiro, or from the other side, you're just saying that because you're trying to appease the anti-Semites.
Thank you, Tommy.
It's like, have you ever considered that I might be saying it just because it's what I think? I mean, I might just actually be what I think. And I'd love to get to a point in this country where we can have conversations where you just like, you take someone's argument and you engage with it rather than trying to read their mind and figure out what really motivates it. Because to me, that's like 90% now of political debate. This is why debates are totally fruitless.
Yes.
90% of it is this.
Thank God. Debate me, bro. Debate me. It's kind of like fight me. Yeah. You don't fight a bully because you're going on their ground and you're going on something that they're good at.
Right.
So you don't fight a bully. What you do is you dissect that bully and you make them feel as small and insignificant as they try to make you. And then if they continue to do it, then you pop them in the fucking nose. But when you're talking to an intellectual, debating them doesn't do it. Calling them out with facts, that does. So when Matt Walsh and I could not be any more aligned, I think debating is the dumbest fucking thing that we possibly can do. It is so it's so knuckle dragging and lowbrow because all it is a dick measuring contest of how much you don't know. So all you do is talk about what you think you know. There is no exchange of ideas. There is no, at least when Leeroy and I get into it, we want to learn something from each other. And there's a commonality and a respect. And yes, we may argue, but at least we're trying to learn something from each other. I have tried to say this whole thing that these people know everything, that Matt Walsh or Megyn Kelly or Ben Shapiro, they don't have all the answers. They're doing it just like we are. There's nothing special about them. And people sit here and listen to these people like they're Jesus Christ. And I don't want you to treat me that way. I don't want you to treat any of them that way. Matt Walsh is right. You can't possibly know everything about everything. And this is the problem with podcasters, including myself, is that maybe we don't have the restraint just to say, you know what, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I would like to think that that's what we do. I think we do that all the time. We're like, I just don't have the answer for you. But
just because you don't know doesn't mean you can't have an opinion on something. I think what Matt Walsh is actually alluding to is the two forms of social media debate that have evolved ever since the invention of Twitter and Facebook, which is for the keyboard warriors who want to go with the 99.9% reactionary type debate where they just devolve a conversation into, oh, you're just a Nazi idiot, right? Versus the 0.01% of people like the Jordan Petersons out there,
right,
who would love to take something logically, break down the question, and actually have a conversation. And I've seen that man get into more thoughtful debate over the definition of words and the actual implications of a question without ever calling anybody a name or saying, well, that's just stupid. And that's what 99.9% of people on social media do. They just want to feel superior, and that's why they debate the way they do.
Do you know that Jordan Peterson is now irrelevant in the conservative movement? He's been ostracized. And the reason why is because the conversation stopped being about intellectualism. He can't compete in that field. He doesn't know how.
Right.
He doesn't have the skill set. We are dumbifying the people who are, and listen, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Mark Levin, these people may have been Jewish, but we listened to them because they were really fucking smart. Even when they got it wrong, they were able to say, I'm wrong. Now, we don't listen to these people because they have the Star of David under their shirt.
You know how many times I'd seen him in thoughtful conversation with somebody, pause, sit back, put his hand up like this and go, you know, that's interesting.
Yes.
And then continue with that line of questioning. Like he's trying to assemble a puzzle piece, a puzzle for you, right? That is just facts that lead to this cause and effect, right? And that's the world that he works in.
Yeah.
Versus what Matt Walsh was describing there, which is just this vitriol that comes out of nowhere on social media.
It's just crap.
But here's the difference. That 99.9% of the people who like to react emotionally, every now and then, those people get they get time. Something goes viral. Nothing that Jordan Peterson has said in a very long time has gone quote unquote viral because it doesn't sell.
That's right.
Nobody wants to be logical anymore. Nobody wants to be intellectual anymore.
No.
They just want to throw their name out there, say, you're an idiot, you're a moron, you're a Nazi fascist. And then that's it.
And that's why we will never be successful. Well, depending upon our level of success and how you define it. Like, I consider this successful to me. This is great. I love our viewers. I love what we have. I love, but I can post something that is extremely profound and it won't move at all. But if I post a dick and fart joke, it'll get 47 million views. Like,
exactly.
I am not meant to be.
It's like idiocracy has come.
Yes. Yeah, and Matt Walsh is talking about the last 30 seconds of this. This is what he says. He's like, why are we only talking about Jews? I said this 6 months ago. You remember? I said, why? Remember when the last election in November, I said, why aren't these people talking about this election? Why are they talking about Jews? Why are they talking about Israel and Ukraine? Let's talk about this election. It's more important that you are political analysts. And you guys are sitting here talking about Jews and Candace Owens. And if Macron has a dick or not, it's just so low fucking brow.
Yeah, too many Americans got into this habit of trying to Photoshop a dong onto Michelle Obama rather than examine the policies within their own state that might advance their own life and restrict government like our founding fathers wanted.
And this is how we get a
blue. Your
blue.
Photoshop skills are amazing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying I don't participate in that. I sure do. But it's not like we don't have a bunch of highbrow content. But Damani and I are sitting here going, what has happened? What has happened? We're looking at our finances going, we're getting killed. They're just killing us. Here's the rest.
Someone doesn't respond to the argument. Instead, they say, well, you're really saying that because, no, okay, you can't read my mind, okay? And why don't you just take what I said, take the argument itself. Let's talk about that. Let's engage with that. Not everything is like a conspiracy. Sometimes people really just give their opinion about something. And that is my opinion. And it has been my opinion literally for as long as I've had any kind of platform at all. That has
no truer words have ever been spoken. Like,
no, spot on.
When you're a hammer, everything's a Jew. I am so sick and tired of talking about fucking Israel. I don't care about Israel. Israel is going to be Israel. They're going to do what they do. That has nothing. People talk about AIPAC. It has nothing to do with us. If you think Israel runs the United States, you're a complete fucking idiot. They tried to get this. They tried to get the State of the Union, a word in the State of the Union, changed about Palestine. And the Jews said, just make it New Palestine instead of Palestine. And you know what? No. We're going to keep it exactly the way it is. and you think that they somehow have this amazing power? Why? AI PAC is one of the, it's not a very lucrative PAC compared to other special interest groups in the United States. How can anyone possibly think Israel isn't even remotely one of the richest countries in the world? Do you understand that?
No.
Do you know how much more money other countries have and how much more money we get? We've given more money to Ukraine than we have to Israel. We are on the precipice over the last 67 years giving more to Ukraine in the last 3 than we've given Israel in their entire existence. Do you know how much money we gave to Afghanistan? Do you know how much money we gave to Iraq? What about Qatar? Do you know how much Qatar puts into the United States and our college campuses? Do you know how much property they own in the United States? Why aren't we talking about all of the money? Why is it just the Jews that we talk about? I'm with Walsh. I am so sick of talking about the Jews. I'm so sick of talking about Candace Owens and her stupid fucking power grab. She doesn't know anything about Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, people. It's not that hard. He got a gun. He climbed the roof. He made an easy shot. He gave himself up. He surrendered himself, and all evidence leads to him. Unless you guys think that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi and Ray Ratcliffe and everybody else who's in the Department of Justice, who were all your favorites because Donald Trump was going to have the greatest team ever, and you all said these people were genius picks. You guys even wanted to clown Matt Gaetz. You guys wanted Candace Owens as vice president for Donald Trump, and I told you were batshit crazy for thinking that. You got everything you wanted. Now we don't trust them? And you trust who? Candace Owens? God, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. I'm just tired. I'm tired of it, buddy.
I hear you. I hear you. Hey, you know what? It's that time of the
Ryan
year.
Spoon.
Things are getting darker earlier. It's colder. You know, people are just overall, we're staring down the holidays.
Time of the month.
Yeah. It's that time of the year for some of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And Melanie says it's best. She was so worried about her life being threatened by France that she went to Dolly World in Nashville. Yeah.
I know.
And
right?
took photos and posted them on her public Instagram page. Folks, we're at 121.40. We're 20:30. It's 8:30 at night. We got 30 minutes to hit goal. At this point,
hi, I'm Olivia Spear.
I can't play that. Hold on.
For
at this point, the grind is the grind, and can I just tell you, it just gets frustrating. Oh, you son of a bitch! It gets frustrating
3.5 years
when you have to constantly just push the donations. I hate it. I'm sick of it. I don't want to do it anymore. It was just so exciting. 3 years ago, Leeroy and I were sitting down and I'm like, guys, things are really great. Facebook is hitting. They're paying us. Things look exciting. We can start paying Amy and Leeroy. We can expand. And then they cut the leg out from underneath us. In 2 years, we get nothing. Well, October, we had another one of those months. Everything was going great. Things were amazing. We got really excited. And then they pulled out the rug from underneath us. I'm so sick of these social media companies using us and they're giving us a 20% bonus in December, and they're throttling everybody. So instead of just giving us the traffic we need and paying out the advertising, they're dangling this bonus out there to get people to post more. And it's not going to, it's just, I'm sick of the game. I'm tired of it. No, it's not about getting a dope sponsor because we don't want anyone to control the show. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm tired. I haven't had a vacation. And I've been doing this for 5 years. And how many things do you have to get right before people just go, you know what? Let's listen to something else. Let's turn it off and let's listen to something else. And I don't know what it's going to take. But I just think that the world is a lesser of a place without Charlie Kirk in it. And for some reason, he seemed to be he was the glue. And now we just have a bunch of knuckleheads who it's just idiocracy, buddy.
When they took Charlie, what they took was somebody who was willing to travel into the lion's den that is academia in America, if you can call it that, to go to campuses and have a rational conversation to debate, but using actual real debate tactics of facts and figures, and try to remain as unemotional about things as humanly possible. Call out the hypocrisy when you see it. That's what Charlie's talent was. He was willing to talk. And if we are not, as a country, willing to do that between the left and the right, between the Republicans and the Democrats, between the liberals and the conservatives, if we're not willing to do that, then we are as divided a country that has ever been. And that is no way for, we can't prosper like that. That is no way for you to look at your neighbor and say, come on over for Thanksgiving. And that is a far better existence, in my opinion, than hopping online, looking at social media, and just throwing out a bunch of hate comments.
Well, the thing is that if you don't do it, you can't make money.
Yeah.
Man, I tried the intellectualism. We used to do that. We used to sit and pick it apart and, talk about the Constitution. And people don't want to hear it. People want hate. They want hate. They want us. Muslims are bad. All Muslims are evil. All Muslims need to be exterminated. Every one of them are terrorists. That's what they want. All Jews are bad. Right. Jews running the country. Jews are running the world. Everybody killed Charlie. Everybody did. The Jews did it. Egypt did it. Government did it. Bees did it. Underground Trapdoors did it. Erica Kirk, TPUSA, they all did it. It's just, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
The J6 bomber, I tried to tell people that he dropped off at the RNC and DNC 2.5 years ago. People flipped out. I tried to say J6 was wrong on a lot of different variables and a lot of different sides, and it was a shame that Republicans took part in it. And it was all the FBI. Really? So Ashley Babbitt was FBI? You're telling me she wasn't a Republican who supported Donald Trump? So she was an FBI plant? She was a stooge? So they can't answer that. Well, no, she wasn't. Oh, so she was the only one out of 57,000 people. They were all FBI plants. What about the 3,000 that went in? They were all FBI. Do you think they all got off work early that day? So there's only just, and it's frustrating. I know. This isn't a good thing. This isn't a good show. It's not a good show. It's a shit show. It sucks. I'm negative. I'm pissed off, and I'm just sick of stupidity. I'm sick of it. But this is a good video, and this will make you happy. Oh.
Well, I mean, to your point, that is one of the things that we on this channel have advocated for a very long time, is to not react, but to slowly process the information that's inbound and then make a more appropriate, measured response. Because the moment you start flying off on handles, right? And the moment you start reacting rather than thinking, that's how you end up inside the Capitol building on that day.
Yeah.
That's how you end up with bricks, that say BLM on them, and you're getting ready to chuck the thing through a storefront. Yeah. If everyone would just kind of step back, right? Process what's happening and stop reacting.
I just want people to stop. I want people to stop asking questions, and I want them to start listening.
Yes.
The worst thing in the world.
I'm okay with asking questions.
No, I'm not. Not anymore. I'm not. Not anymore. No, I'm not anymore, Leeroy. I'm not. And you shouldn't be either. You want to know why? Because the dumbest question they say, the dumbest question is the one you don't ask. No, the fucking dumbest question is the one that you ask that you already know the answer to.
Well, those aren't good faith conversations, but
that's all we do now.
If we're really trying to say between the left and the right that we do want to have that conversation, then when you start talking about what the components of a conversation are, it is in fact questions and opinions or facts or some level of response. More questions, more response. That's how we exchange ideas. So I disagree with you. I think that we need to have those questions, but they need to come from a place of good faith. They can't come from a place of, oh, I'm going to dominate you because I know more than you in this.
That's all there are. That's
topic.
All the questions. Well, then stop saying that. No, like we need a reset. We need to stop asking questions. No, you need to shut up and listen. You need to listen to people so you know the right questions to ask. People don't listen anymore to ask a question that's insightful. They ask questions to get people in a gotcha. The whole methodology of our movement, conservatives alike, is you ask, like, go on Facebook and somebody will say, oh yeah, well, tell me what Joe Biden did. And you're like, oh, okay, right. Well, here's what Biden did. And you're like, what aboutism? And you're like,
right.
What the fuck do you mean, what aboutism? What does that mean? Right. I just gave you a fact. I just told you what he did. And now you're like, what about it? You're not asking me a question for sincerity. You're asking me a question to move the goalposts. I'm so sick and tired of people. I'm just asking questions. And then someone goes, questions are a good thing. You know what? No, they're not. Not sometimes. Most of the time, they're not. Not in today's world. Because when you go into school and you're going to learn something from a professor that you know nothing about, and you're like, I'm just asking questions. No, you're not. If you say that, you're not. Because you wouldn't need to get defensive if you were asking a sincere question to learn. It's like when people do this. They go up to a priest. I was with my my pastor. And I said, don't you think in Job that God was demonstrating egotism and arrogance when Satan at the high heavenly court challenged him about Job, and that the only reason Job followed him as the most faithful servant was because of the goodness and gifts that God would bestow upon him? And I'm like, don't you feel that that was a little human of God to do? Don't you think that was just, that's not what a deity should feel? And I said, and please understand, I'm not asking that to offend. He's like, Matt, I don't think you are. He's like, I can tell the difference when someone's asking a question to try to make me feel stupid or to minimize my belief in God, and when people have a genuine question of understanding, and that's a really good question. You don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
You may do that. Yeah. I may do that, but it's not done on the mainstream. You saw the Crowder interview. Those questions he was asking him, they weren't inquisitive. They were set up so Nick Fuentes could be platformed.
Absolutely. And part of the structure for that was engineered, right? They wanted to, in some way, shape, or form, give Nick Fuentes like this tampered look, this, all right, we're going to bring him a little bit down because he's going to be on Crowder's show so that we can appeal to their audience and not make it look like he's a complete racist douchebag when plainly he is. I don't know. I still say that asking questions, sincere questions.
Yeah, but that's not what asking questions is. You had to caveat it, because the new definition of asking questions is doubt everything and ask questions until you're blue in the face, no matter where the facts lead you. That's not a question. That's a statement posed as a question. Right. If you have to put a caveat, but you understand what I'm saying. The idea. The philosophical process of questions and answers for learning and understanding is no longer what it is. It has evolved into something else, where asking questions can be disingenuous. Asking questions could be misleading. Like, for instance, you want to talk about intelligence, the United States naval intelligence. I'm like, naval intelligence, isn't that an oxymoron? And you're like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
To some degree.
What type of question is that? You're not so there comes a point when you got to time out and set the rules of the conversation, is what I'm saying. Because, let me just ask you this. Can you name one podcast, one show that you watch where an exchange of ideas truly takes place? That when people are discussing something, they are trying to learn versus trying to be right. I can only think of one. I can think of one.
I can think of two or three.
Okay, Eric Erickson is one.
Really?
Yes.
I wouldn't have thrown him in that pot. Dad Saves America. I really like that guy.
Okay.
And then Jordan Peterson being the other. Two or three that I could think of.
Eric Erickson may be wrong, but he genuinely asks and wants to engage in a conversation and ask questions to understand. He may not agree. Yeah. But I don't think Eric Erickson is fake. I don't.
And I would agree with you.
I don't even like Eric Erickson's show a lot. Tom, I agree with you. This show, we try to do it. But the whole point I'm trying to make is We need a reset. And when the old, I really want to be clear on this. I'm not saying you can't ask questions, but when you have the answer and you continue to ask questions and refuse to accept it, then it's like the moon landing. At some point, asking questions means that you're fucking retarded. You're too stupid to understand, to get out of your own way, to understand what the scientific evidence says. And now at this point, this conversation is just as arbitrary as jerking off to the JCPenney catalog. It's a stupid conversation. But when there's ambiguity, when there's ambiguity, I understand. But there's no ambiguity about the moon landing. There's no ambiguity about it. JFK has ambiguity, so you can say, sure, it was the Klan, it was the mafia, it was the government, it was the Jews, it was the Cubans. That's different, and you can continue to ask questions. But when something's definitive and something's been established, and you still are asking questions because somehow you've been trained that asking questions is always a good thing, and it's not. There are times where you just need to accept the answer and trust the professionals because you are not it. Go ahead. Put this to bed.
Well, this is probably going to irritate you just a little bit, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay. That's fine.
I think what everyone has been afflicted with is a mild case of, and I feel your frustration, but it's a mild case of the availability heuristic. And availability has now come in the form of this, right? So that people now interpret things like Twitter and Facebook to be real world conversations, and they're not.
No, they're not.
Facebook is not real.
No, it's not. Neither is Twitter. No.
So when we're having these debates, right, there seems to be this absolute flood of Americans who suffer from both type 1 and type 2 logical errors. People who are willing to accept false facts and then reject real facts. And where everyone seems to be on both sides of it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Whereas all of that is happening right in front of our eyes on Facebook, right? Somehow we have forgotten to have real interpersonal face-to-face conversations with your neighbor, with the guy down the road, with the people at work. And when you have those types of conversations, then most of these gotcha type moments, I think they tend to fade away a little bit. I think that the world is nowhere near as biased as we think it is. But what's happening is social media and the media has given us this false perception that the world is so divided. And that's why we have these gotcha moments, because people are just, that's all they read online.
Read that.
Literally every comment online, political, is you're an idiot, you're a fascist. And so we think as Americans, well, that's just true for everyone. That is everyone that is saying stuff.
Okay, read this.
Why ask questions when you don't want to hear the truth? Exactly.
That's it. Maria said it. It took me 20 minutes. She said it in one sentence. People ask questions when they have no desire to hear the truth.
Exactly.
They're like, that's your truth. No, there's no fucking such thing as my truth. There's no such thing as her truth. There's only truth. And the truth is based upon what we know at this time. Right now, Tyler Robertson. Robertson?
That's the guy.
Robinson. He's it. He until they're about ready to do a full trial. Millions of dollars has been put into this investigation. It's probably going to be televised. This is a massive undertaking. Mel Lowe, 103.48. I love you, Mel.
Oh, Mel.
She does all the time. She
You
carries.
are amazing, lady.
So many people carry the show, and that's it. Until you hear, but you're like, no, it can't be that simple. Yes, it can. Right. And Lee Harvey Oswald very much could have just killed Kennedy.
Occam's razor.
That's just the way it is. And although I don't believe it was just Oswald, because there's too much empirical evidence and data that other things and other systematic levers were pulled by other people to make Oswald successful at what he did. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't Oswald who pulled the trigger. All right, this video is good. We'll watch this. Oh, God, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Here it is.
Ryan Spoon, the so-called first winner of Old State Saloon's month of free beer promotion, told Idaho News 6 he filed that tip believing the man he reported worked for Mickelson's Farms.
Basically, I repeated Representative Stephanie Mickelson's, State House Representative Stephanie Mickelson. She gave public floor testimony on the floor of the Idaho State House in 2024, I believe it was, where in her own words, she said that, quote, every food processor in the state, unquote, hires illegals.
Mickelson, whose family employs hundreds of workers, says she decided to speak now to let others know she thinks the saloon's promotion is despicable.
If we start targeting people based upon the color of their skin, that we really have a big problem here.
Immigration attorneys warn that programs like this can lead to false accusations, targeting of Hispanic workers, and misuse of federal agencies.
What do you think?
I'm still trying to grasp everything that they had said.
So, do you need me to play it again?
It sounded like he was basically re-quoting a state representative in some way, shape, or form. He got in trouble for it.
Let's listen to it again.
Ryan Spoon, the so-called first winner of Old State Saloon's month of free beer promotion, told Idaho News 6 he filed that tip believing the man he reported worked for Mickelson's Farms.
Basically, I repeated Representative Stephanie Mickelson's, State House Representative Stephanie Mickelson. She gave public floor testimony on the floor of the Idaho State House in 2024, I believe it was, where in her own words, she said that, quote, every food processor in the state, unquote, hires illegals.
Mickelson, whose family employs hundreds of workers, says she decided to speak now to let others know she thinks the saloon's promotion is despicable.
If we start targeting people based upon the color of their skin, that we really have a big problem here.
Immigration.
I got it.
So what it is she's a state representative. She runs a saloon. She hired illegals. Yeah. So the Old State Saloon bar in Idaho was running a promotion for a free beer for a month if you report illegals to ICE who got deported. And he did so.
And she's calling him out on it.
Right. Right. So it's like a little bit hypocritical, right? So let me ask you a question. Is it okay for a business to give free beer away for a month? If you report illegal, get a beer. Is that okay? Can you do that?
I would think it maybe it is legal. I can't see where it would be illegal. I'm trying to think of I don't know all of the local laws, so I'm going to plead some level of ignorance. I will tell you my gut instinct is I can't see where it would be illegal on its surface.
Let me ask you a question. So you live in a neighborhood. You remember the old burglar with the eye and the magnifying glass, and it was Neighborhood Watch?
Yeah.
So when they went ahead and turned in people who looked suspicious, was that illegal? Here's another example. What about COVID? If you saw people who had more than 4 people in their house, you were supposed to call and report them to the local authorities, right?
Right.
So if you can do that, why can't you report illegal, get a free beer? You could get a free cheeseburger and fries if you reported your neighbor if they didn't get the vaccine or they weren't wearing a mask.
Law enforcement works off of tips quite often, and
yes,
often there's rewards that are attached to this stuff.
So true. So true. I don't care.
So, and nor do I. I would never call and try and turn somebody in just because I felt like, oh, that person is brown skinned,
right?
So they have to be illegal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the actual act of, hey, there's somebody here that I think you should check out, and if I happen to win a beer from it, But I mean, I think the act itself is gross. The act itself of calling the law enforcement and saying, "Hey, there's a brown person here," that's gross to me. Yeah. But is it illegal? No, I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Here's another thing: is this illegal? Because this is interesting. Here's a video for you, folks. We've got 1 minute and 44 seconds left. Let's make this easy, please. And we're at, I don't know where we're at. Avs are losing
239.88.
5-2. We're not able to keep the puck out of the net tonight. That sucks. 239.88 is where we're at, and yeah, we need some money. Okay, here's the video. Watch this. Tell me, this is not a boat. This was around the time of a certain president, and it starts with O and ends with Obama. Watch this.
Roger, taking straight. Looks like he just took a right going past that lone building. Oh, firing.
Fire. Uh-oh.
Oh, they're trying to get away.
Rifle.
Not anymore. Flash 36. 30. Rousing gun. And one squirter northbound.
Squirter!
Squirter.
Alright, break. Tally up a squirter, sir. Negative tally.
Hey, that guy's walking down there. Get him.
Oh, we're breaking.
Yeah, that poor guy's he's concussed. He's walking dead, essentially. He's not even a squirter. This guy's walking and doesn't know he's dead yet. So you can see he's stumbling and he's losing blood.
Oh, we're breaking.
Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Roger, we're prepared to engage with gun. Roger, go ahead, engage. Roger, taking straight.
All right. Was that a war crime?
I don't know where this was at.
No, it's not a war crime. It's not. The answer's no. You have enemy combatants.
If it happened in Texas, then yeah.
But
if it was Afghanistan or Somalia, then probably not.
Comes down to this. War is ugly. That's it. It's ugly. It's not pretty. And I have seen multiple strikes like that. I can't even tell you how many. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. I'm going to tell you that I've seen multiple strikes like this, and not multiple, but I don't even know how many. And when you decide to take out a target, whether it's a technical, which that's technical. There's a truck with a mounted firearm on it,
gun, yeah,
mounted machine gun, and you have armed enemy combatants. You kill the technical and anyone who's there because you've decided that you're going to HK that target. When you HK that target, it specifically means hunt kill, and you finish it. So the initial blast didn't kill them, and then they did. Every single target, and we have hit buildings with GBUs with 2-ton bombs, and squirters come out the side, and you've got EC-130s lighting them up.
Yep.
Just sending Volkswagen-size explosions all around, and that's not that, guys. That's not a war crime. That is effective seek and destroy. Go ahead.
There is always a restrike recommendation from the analysts who have eyeballs on the screen.
Yep.
Right. And they typically, these are folks who go to school for this, who go to school to do explicitly, it's what we call FMV, full motion video analysis. And when these guys get done with this and they exit the school, they have the absolute ability to track people, to tell whether or not somebody is still up and running, still a threat. They can perform battle damage assessments.
Yep.
When you get a restrike recommendation from an analyst and you are a commander in the field, can you imagine the hell that person would go through if a restrike recommendation came through and then the commander is like, nope, we only do it the one time, people. No, it doesn't work that way. You always continue your strike until the threat is neutralized.
Paul Rivera, $70. Thank you, Paul. We appreciate you. Absolutely. Couldn't leave you hanging, brother, especially tonight. This show does good American work, balls and strikes, no matter who. I love you, buddy. So you're absolutely right.
Paul, you're awesome.
And I'm just trying to tell you, I can show you thousands of videos like that. And every time, what do you want them to do? Okay, so it's a war crime. You've hit them once. They're survivors. Now what do you want them to do? You want them to leave them there and let them bleed to death? You want them to send them a medevac? Mr. Hollandaise down at $30.12. Simplest answer to any question should now be shut up and listen. If you're listening to an expert, shut up and listen. Then every college professor, save your questions until the end because I'm probably going to go ahead and cover it. Don't we remember the golden rules? Save your questions until the end. Shut up. Let me lecture, and I'll probably get to your question. And if I don't, I'll answer it at the end. What's wrong with that? Now we don't let anyone finish. But this, what do you want to do? You want to send in a medevac? You want to send in a Blackhawk so it gets hit with an RPG? Is that what you want? Well, now, so what are the rules of engagement here? What are they? The rules of engagement in war should be to eradicate the enemy, full stop. This isn't Vietnam. It's not a political war. If you've decided to go to war with a foreign nation or a foreign entity, then you eradicate them until they are dead, all of them. Anyone who supports them, anyone who profits, kill them all. I'm sorry, that's why we don't want to go to war. Because it is a brutal and terrible thing. And it's why we haven't declared war since World War II. But if you think we have not prosecuted things that are 100 times worse than what happened in World War II from the American reaction side, you're wrong. Everyone's like, the worst thing the United States ever did was drop the bombs in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. No, that's not true. The worst thing we did was Iraq and Afghanistan. No. We killed 1 million Arabs. 1 million. Over 3 presidents. 1 million. Mostly civilians. That's the truth. You don't have to like it, but it's what happened. All in the name of freedom and democracy. So can we stop clutching pearls? Here's another video for you.
Right.
This, we're almost done. I need to go watch the apps. Yeah. It's 5-2. And I'm like, if I don't go out there and watch them, they're going to lose. But if I get out there, we might have a chance.
You're the Avs version of Lucky Underwear. I get it.
You have no idea, dude. Like, you have to have a letdown game, and they're going to lose. They're going to probably lose less than 10 games all year. But this can't go on. So, and I'm just disappointed because I'd love to see my team win. All right, so here's this. This Tim Walz is getting some flack, and he's upset. He's very, very mad because Trump called him a retard.
You know how much shit I've gotten over that word lately?
Yeah. Did you hate that word at some point?
No. How much shit I have gotten over.
Oh, I use it all the time.
Use of that word.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's part of the problem is that you and I are cut from a slightly, we're cut from the same cloth.
We are.
And when we have to interact with regular people who don't have the thick military skin, then guess what? Feelings are going to get hurt. And I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck.
Hurricanes are what, 8 points behind the Avs, 10 points behind the Avs. It's Dallas and the Avalanche right now. That's it. That's the only ones we got to worry about. Dallas is right on our ass. They're playing great hockey. The Avs are playing great. It's going to be a hell of a playoffs. Here it is.
True. This creates danger. And I'll tell you what, in my time on this, I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word in front of people.
The R word.
This is shameful.
Just say it.
And I have yet to see.
You're a retard because you won't use the word retard.
An elected official, a Republican elected official, say, you're right, that's shameful. He should not say it. So look, I'm worried. We know how these things go. They start with taunts, they turn to violence. So deeply concerned.
You're a retard. You're just a retard. Here's the video.
True.
From The View. Stephen Smith was on The View, which is interesting, and he just completely shuts down.
More pearl clutching?
No, he shuts down Whoopi. He does a pretty good job of it. But this is his reaction, and it's interesting. Stephen A. Smith, I never used to like him, but he grows on me at times, even though I don't agree with what he says. Here it is.
Trump is claiming that he aced the cognitive test, even though he's going on late night Truth Social tirades. In the middle of the night, he's texting and calling Governor Walz a name that we don't use anymore to disability. He's attacking female reporters as piggy and ugly. He's falling asleep in the middle of a meeting. I mean, I said yesterday that Marco Rubio is boring, but not that boring that he would fall asleep. So what do you think's going on with him?
Trump is being Trump.
Really? There's nothing cognitively wrong there?
Well, I'm not saying whether there is or isn't. What I'm saying is 77 million people don't care. They voted for him. And those same 77 million people
Is it still that number?
They would do it. Well, you could say that it is or isn't, but the point is he's the president of the United States. Despite the onslaught of stuff that was coming his way, He knocked off folks, and the Democrats let him because
real American. He's like, they could have called him the F word. What, flambe? Yeah, he called him a fag. I mean, because listen, I still call people. I got shot on Arc Raiders tonight, and I was doing an exfil, and this guy came up, and I took out 37 drones. I got my Osprey, and I went up into a high canyon, and I got up on a tower, and I just was plucking drones off. I saved so many people's lives, so many Raiders. I took on 30, at least I think it was 37 drones I shot down, and that's all I did for 29 minutes. I didn't go collect any loot. I didn't do anything. I just sat up there with my Osprey and I just destroyed everybody. And then I'm exfilling, and some little twat waffle comes up with a free loadout and ganks me in the back when I'm punching out on the keyboard. And I turn around, I'm like, you're a fucking fag.
Nice.
And he goes, oh, damn it, I like you. I should have killed you. You used fag. And I said, yeah, you retard. Why did you shoot me? He's like, were you the guy shooting all the drones? And then the door, and he's like, you're a and then the door closed and our communication shut off. I'm like, what a fag. Here's the rest.
Hold on. Before you do that,
yeah.
I'm going to explain to everyone my position on the excessive use of the word fag, retard, whatever the case is.
Well, can we finish Stephen Smith?
Sure.
Let's finish Stephen Smith.
On their game. Now you have to look at, because obviously he's not going to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which will enable him to run for a third term. So now you're talking about J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is considered the adult in the room, the Secretary of State, National Defense, the National Security Advisor. You got J.D. Vance, he's the Vice President, but he seems more Trump-ish in terms of how he conducts himself and how he's willing to go after people. So who is Trump going to support? One of the things that I talked about on my show was that I said, don't fall for it. Look at what Trump is doing. Trump is positioning himself to remain in power even if he isn't the president. Yeah. He wants to make sure he maintains that level of influence. And so because of when you see what he's done with the Honduras president, letting him out partying, even though the man is alleged to assist in funneling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States.
He was serving 45 years.
He was serving 45 years, absolutely. And you let him out in the same breath. You're bombing people in the Caribbean for the very thing that you said was a problem.
Well, let's talk about the bombing.
He's doing what he's doing, but
all right. So we got to go to Leeroy. By the way, I found out why I went ahead and found out why he did this. So it's exactly like I said. It was politically advantageous because there's a huge election coming up in Honduras, and the right party sees him as not a hero, but it'll grease the wheels for the people in the right in that country who are kind of soft on the current person running on the right, and it will give them aid to essentially get a person that they want in the Honduran government. This is exactly that's why I did it. It's a political move. It doesn't matter. I understand why you're upset, but one guy moving 400 million tons of cocaine. Trust me when I say this, it wasn't one guy. Okay? It wasn't one guy. Yes, he's guilty. I don't like it. And hopefully we pick him up on a drone and kill him after we win the election. But as of right now, that's what we've got. Go ahead, Leeroy. You're going to talk about the fag and retard comments.
Yeah. So when we use those words, when someone asks me to close my eyes and think of the word retard, right? And then I get an image, right? It is never of a person who is in a classroom, and I say this because the person that tried to throw this back on me happens to have been a special education teacher. Fine, I get it. But when I envision that word, it is never of a kid in a classroom. Right. It is always people like a lot. I hate to say this, a lot of leftists, a lot of the people who cannot connect two thoughts together. Right. It is never a demeaning comment towards somebody who happens to be mentally handicapped. That's not who I'm thinking of. No. I am thinking of the people who cannot logic themselves out of a paper bag. So to me, it's not an offensive word because it's the wrong audience. Now, if you happen to associate that aimed towards kids in a classroom, well, then that makes you a terrible person, not
That's
me.
it. Yeah. The best way to put it is exactly like you just said. And there's also a meme for this that it will just take me a quick second to find that really puts this into a nutshell. And I've got hundreds of these. I wish I didn't have as many memes as I do have, but I have a lot. And I will show it to you. Here, you can talk about thedumbshow.com if you would like, please.
I would love to talk about thedumbshow.com. More importantly, I would love to talk about thedumbshow.com, where you can go and shop and look for sweatshirts and hats and coffee mugs. And we have the best coffee that you can imagine. This stuff smells amazing. And you only have to use a little bit in order to get like a full dose of caffeine for the week out of the thing. It's amazing. Go to that store. Pick yourself up some coffee, pick yourself up some mugs. Occasionally we get these in, which are amazing leather-bound editions of the Documents of Freedom. Go to that store, you will love it.
Yeah, I can't find it, but that's basically what it is. If I call you a retard, it's not that I am making fun of people with mental retardation. I'm literally calling you a retard because you're a retard. And if you can't understand this, then you're a fucking retard. It's a great meme. It needs to be a shirt. Okay. Nick Fuentes, we wanted to get to it. People wanted to see it, so we're going to get to it right now. Donations are still open. We're driving. We're still going. December's one of the worst months of the year. And it's not because people don't give. It's they do, and it's incredible. Olivia has announced tomorrow is free jacket. I think a lot of people are waiting for that. So hang in there. $25 gets you in. And remember, if you donated in October, November, and December, you get in our free end of the year drawing, which we're going to do at the end of the month. There's going to be a big drawing. We're thinking Barry Morgenstein's autograph book, T.S. Dixon's book.
I love Barry.
We have a flag to give out, autograph picture. We're doing a big grab bag. And what we're going to do is like around Avs score 5-3. Okay. They're going to come back. Third period's our best period. Around the 15th or the 20th, right before Christmas, we're going to open up another $25 entry. So as many people who want to get into it can. So FYI. So tomorrow will not be the last time to get in. But if you donated October, November, December, you get 3 entries. So if you donate tomorrow, you get 3 entries into this. And then we're going to open it up like on the 15th or the 20th. We'll tell you what day it's going to be to do $25 entry. We're probably going to give another jacket away. And to get you into that big, we're going to do it twice this month, okay? Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Here is the Nick Fuentes commercial. Excuse me. I know it sounds like a commercial. Here it is with Crowder. And I'm just going to show you a couple things that show that Nick's lying. But here's the thing. I believe that Nick realizes that here's what I think. And the Groypers know me. They know I'm fair with him. Is I believe Nick realizes that he can't continue to be this person he is. If he's going to plateau. And now that he's there, and now that he has established himself as a big name, and everybody is platforming him, he is going to clean his image up. And this is a re-imaging tour. Because Nick believes that he has the potential to speak to 20, 30 million people like Candace does or Crowder or Shapiro. Right. And if he has that ability, he must tone it down. And he can still believe the things that he believes, but he's
just can't say it.
Yeah, he's got the knuckle draggers. He's got the knuckle draggers, but there's a next evolution in what Nick is going to be, and this is the one that I was talking about. If you watch, this is a very different Nick than just about anybody else that he's ever been. Here it is.
Nick, I think there's some misconceptions of you. I've heard this said. Can you clear the air? Nick Fuentes, do you hate all Jews, sir?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you consider yourself an anti-Semite, a noted anti-Semite?
No.
Okay. Clears that up. Do you believe that white people are superior to all other races on the planet?
No.
Okay. Do you want to eradicate all non-whites from the United States?
No.
Okay. Well, Barry Weiss will be very happy to hear that. No doubt she's watching. And then because this happens a lot, right? It's you're a Tucker did this with you. Fed. Nick Fuentes, are you in fact a Fed?
No.
Okay. I'm going to get through these rapid fire really quickly. They're actually, there's not much. So this week, Jillian Michaels will be on the show next week while you're doing Piers Morgan Censored. And she said that we need to disavow you, and specifically said you had said that women either want or need to be raped. Now, I looked for this. I have not found, as a matter of prescription,
I found it
from you, correct me if I'm wrong, that you believe women should be raped as a matter of policy. Do I have that right?
Yeah, you're correct on that. Yes.
Okay. All right. So she's wrong. She's just an angry lesbian. Got it. Now, finally, this one might surprise people because I know you and Charlie Kirk were sort of rivals, as you've described. Been a lot of.
He said that TPUSA was Charlie's baby, and he bent it over the table and fucked the baby anally. That's what he said.
Wow.
Nick Fuentes, folks.
Controversy floating around that, and people often say that you blame the Jews for everything. Do you believe the Jews killed Charlie Kirk? That's one of the conspiracies out there right now. What's your position on that?
I don't believe that. As it stands right now, I think it was Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, me too. And if there's something else, I hope that we find out. But I think a lot of people would just sort of toss you in that lot.
Okay, facts check. I'm not going to show you Stalin. I'm not going to show you where he said Hitler was a good guy. I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to show you the one that is
I'm not surprised.
Listen, I am a low-level podcast. Crowder makes a lot of money. He makes millions a year. How can I find this and you can't? I even knew the date. I knew exactly where to go back and find. Dude, either hire me
Steven,
for.
I think you might be baked here, Bubba.
Yeah, hire me for your research team because I can go back and show you systematically every single thing that you're saying that Nick said was disingenuous and a lie. He does hate Jews. It's a complete fucking lie. He does believe that black people and white people should be segregated. He does not believe in mixed marriages.
So.
Yes, he said so plenty of times. And he justifies it, says black people think the same thing. Here you go. Merry Christmas.
I'm not surprised why women don't support me. Women are irrational and sensitive. It's just like my whole life. Because I was always like the class clown. I was always like bullying women. And women have always been like simultaneously charmed, but also like, oh, stop it. Oh, you're so annoying. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's how women are with like with my personality type. You're like a rascal, you're like a bastard. And they're kind of like, because I'm like a rule breaker and stuff. And so women simultaneously are intrigued by that, but they also have to pretend like they're not, because women, it's sort of like how a lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. But also they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
Okay, so
what
you're an idiot.
Slimy.
He's he's an idiot kid. And yeah, you can say, but you know what you could have said? Yeah, I said stupid shit when I was younger. And I've kind of ran with it, and I kind of made money off of it. I've prospered from it. You know what I mean? And you know what? I regret saying some of it, and he did. When it came to the Christians piece about saying that anyone who isn't Christian should be executed, he's like, I did say it a few years ago, and I regret saying it. But how about you just say, I said a lot of stupid shit and I made money off of it. And I don't believe those things that I said. And you know what? But there will never be any contrition from him. He's never going to apologize.
No.
And honestly, he shouldn't have to apologize. It's free speech. But don't get upset when people paint you as a fucking anti-Semite or a racist or a bigot or a chauvinist dick when you are. Right. I have said this a million times. You are a Mexican midget fag. He is. He doesn't love and like women. He has no desire to have sex with women. So, dude, do they call that something? It's called gay. You're gay. And it's okay. And it's okay that you're a midget. And it's okay that you're a Mexican. But you are not the next Adolf Hitler. And now he's going to try to shed this stuff and he's going to try to reimagine himself. But just understand that this is in his brain and people never truly change. They might be able to cover their flaws, but they never really truly change.
It is a little ironic that he has such strong opinions about brown people with a last name like Fuentes.
Oh God, it's so ridiculous. It's just
Isn't that weird?
stupid. Well, and he hanged out with Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos was gayer than a $3 bill. Now Milo Yiannopoulos supposedly is not gay, and he's railing it. I'm so sick of all these people. I don't care about any of these people. It's like fucking soap opera. But you've got to cover it because he's on Crowder. So like I'm at the point like Crowder can interview anyone he wants. But this was not this was a softball interview. I mean, and that bums me out. You know what I would have said is, wait a second, Nick, hold on. You did say. So here's the question. Is who's the real Nick Fuentes? Either you were lying then or you're lying now. Which one is it?
Exactly.
That's what I would tell him. And then he's like, well, I'm not lying then. I've changed. Oh, okay, cool. Well, then you've changed. Here's last week.
Say that.
No, but here's last week. Because you said shit last week. So it's all about money. It's all about influence. It's all about clicks. That's what it's all about. Money, power, and votes, except for you don't have the votes. They want the money and the power. Anyway, folks, I appreciate you. It was a good night. I'm going to go watch the rest of the Avs game. Hopefully they come back. It's 5-3. They can't win them all, but I don't like losing to the Islanders, but they're a good team too. So, Leeroy, take us out, man. It was an interesting show. It wasn't the most popular show.
Yeah. We apologize about the drop in service there, folks. But thank you for all of the donations. You managed to hit $340 for the evening, which is fantastic. Mel, you are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for everybody. Thanks for the help.
For everybody who donated. And if there's one thing that I would just like to emphasize to everyone watching is that Facebook is not real. Make sure you're having real conversations with the people around you verbally. Because I think what you're going to find out is that most people are pretty moderate, you know. Be kind to each other. And beyond that, you know, I would just look forward to this Christmas. It's going to be a good season.
It is. It's going to be a good season. And I will be in a better mood tomorrow. I was just too many negatives today, man. And the entire news cycle was just drama and soap opera-esque, you know, and that gets me down. I don't like that. I like to have. I'm just so tired of the drudgery, the black pill. Can we have some good things happen? We had kids, 25 million kids are going to get $250 to $1,000. Good. And it's not socialism, and it's charity, and good. Can we focus on that? But the media didn't run it. Nobody cares. It's like all about the doom and gloom. I'm tired of the doom and gloom. Okay.
Yeah.
See you guys tomorrow. Remember, jacket, $25 jacket. Tomorrow drawing is going to happen. The drawing will be Monday. We're going to have that going on. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a good show. Olivia and I will be in the house. Dan Nunn is next week. He'll be on Tuesday, and can't wait to see him on Tuesday. So he'll be here. Leeroy, love you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Good.
See you guys tomorrow.
Love you guys. Everyone, take care.
All right, bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.